In today's video, I'm going to help everybody understand why females are attracted to dogs, why we have so many dog moms, and this also applies to men, and I'll explain why it applies to men as we get into the video. First, I want to shout out to another channel that will help explain this, so you don't have to take my word for it, but go into this video and read the part about unpredictability. So women in particular, men too, especially men that have low testosterone, they're attracted to constant chaos, unpredictability. And part of the reason is because then they can feel like they're in control. They can kind of cause problems and control them, and they can also constantly get themselves re-excited. Yeah, so just a shout out to this channel right here. Check out this video with the unpredictability. Everything he has in here is properly sourced, and it's time proven. He just presents it in a more modern way where we can understand it. So women find unpredictability attractive because it creates a sense of mystery and excitement. So you can see that with dog owners. They're constantly wondering what the dog's doing, where is he going, what stuff should I buy for him. It's linked to the thrill of the chase, as it says right here. Anticipation of pleasure comes from engaging with someone who is not easily predictable. Well, dogs are not easily predictable. Even a dog that has tons and tons of training, you still have to be like, oh, what's it going to do? You know, should I roll the window down in my truck? Will he jump out? There's always some unpredictable stuff going on with dogs. And whether people admit it or not, they're very attracted to it. One of the ways that they're attracted to it is they are constantly either excited or they're just buying training and buying products to control that unpredictability. They love the fact that they can control it. They can spend a bunch of money on training. They can work extra hours to control this dog, restrain this dog. And so studies also suggest that women can be drawn to chaotic or emotionally intense relationships because of past instability. So if you come from an unstable family, you know, getting a dog is just the choice. A lot of women and men seek unstable people, you know, because, well, it's more exciting and it's easier in their mind. It's easier because they can control it, or they're a little bit excited by it. Yeah. But as you can see here, it's like familiar patterns. You know, if you grow up with a bunch of unpredictable dogs running around your house and your mom and dad are constantly telling you, go do this, go do that, walk the dog, pick up the dog poop, pick your food up so dogs don't eat it, all that kind of hullabaloo, windows getting broken, mailman getting attacked. You're a little kid growing up with that, and then you're going to seek that type of behavior later on. More so if you have low testosterone and high estrogen. And so families have become more unstable recently. Many children experience frequent changes in household composition due to factors like parental separation. So we're basically breeding a bunch of people that are going to just want to have more chaos and get more dogs. So a big thing about this is it impacts the well-being, leading to behavioral and mental health issues. You know, so having this constant unpredictability is not necessarily good for you. Let's go to our next little summary here. So people can develop a chaos addiction. It's where they seek out instability and disorder due to past experiences or emotional patterns. This is kind of like what I was talking about a couple moments ago. But the key thing to understand here is this can lead to unhealthy behaviors and difficulties in managing stable relationships and environments. It's like with dogs. So many people choose to get a dog because they can fix it, nurture it, care for it. Oh, it's so unpredictable. I don't know, but I can fix it though. They're always in some kind of unstable relationship with their dog. The dog kills the toddler or something, or the dog breaks somebody's ankle in the house, and it's like, oh, it's okay. Well, you know, we'll just take a couple weeks off work, etc., etc. And so, speaking about instability, look at this. 2,000 family arguments during the lifetime on average of a dog. And that doesn't count the police calls and the neighbors getting irritated or the fights between dogs. So just the presence of the dog, just this one little drop in the water of what dogs do to families. Look at all these arguments. Common disputes are responsibilities, training, household rules, and the children are inevitably going to be part of this. And they're going to learn this chaos. They're going to learn this unpredictability. Yeah. And so people that feel like they're being used, they'll defend the person using them. So when these people get involved in this chaos, they're going to kind of have that mama bear attitude. Like, yes, my dog caused all these problems. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, you ruined my couch. But you better not say anything bad about dogs because that's my fur baby. It's all wrapped up in their dopamine response. It's all wrapped up in their hormones. Um, they have, as it says here, an emotional attachment to that dog. It's basically hacking our human brains. It's hacking our female type hormones to nurture a thing, to fix a thing, to change a thing, and that's why we're attracted to these dogs more and more. And so check this out. Over nurturing is unhealthy for both parties. It can lead to dependency issues and emotional problems. So over nurturing is what we do with dogs. You know, a dog doesn't grow up and start doing chores around the house, and mom can go back to her hobbies, and mom can spend time with dad and get her foot rubbed and make dinner together, go on walks. With the dog is always there, always needing you. Never matures. And so women are constantly in this right here. Read this. Over nurturing. Women are constantly in this over nurturing thing because we spoil these dogs. Yeah. And notice what it says right here, independence and self sufficiency. You know, the dog never gets self sufficiency, it never gets any of that. And so, if you're taking care of a dog, you always have a non self sufficient and a non independent creature in your life, which is going to put you into a hormone imbalance. So, another issue with this is children today are showing signs of over nurturing. But where are people learning this from? They're learning it partially from owning dogs. People think that owning dogs is some kind of great way to learn things. A dog is a permanent baby putting you in a permanent mama bear hormone imbalance issue. You love it because it's unpredictable. That's proven. And you love it because your hormones are telling you to keep caring for the little baby. A fur baby. You're a fur mommy. You're a fur daddy. That's one of the most common little slogans from our dog culture. So this is also a risk to human children because as we learn this right here, we learn to over nurture a baby that lives in our life, a permanent freeloader in our house. As we learn to over nurture things, we're going to do that to our children too. And look at some of the difficulties this can give our children. Low self-confidence, no ability to handle frustration or stress. Does that seem like a lot of our kids today? Yeah. And so another thing about this, it's highly related to femininity. So over nurturing can lead to an imbalance in feminine energy. It causes individuals to neglect their own needs. So as a mother, and you're a fur mommy or even a fur daddy, because as a fur daddy, you probably have low testosterone, and we're getting to that pretty soon here. You'll neglect your own needs. Dog owners actually brag about this all the time. And if we're neglecting our own needs, that means we're neglecting the needs of our friends, family, and children. Yeah. It's, as it says right here, it's an imbalance between giving and receiving. Dogs do nothing but take. You can say that it relieves your stress or it gives you this. All it gives you is a shot of dopamine every time that you come and solve a problem that the dog created, and then you think that you're in charge of something. So, as I mentioned, many modern women prioritize their dog's needs over their own, leading to neglect of their personal well-being. That's also the well-being of their children. It's also the well-being of the next generation of dog owners. Even if you're a dog lover, you need to pay attention to this. If you're a feminist, if you're a pro-humanity person, you need to pay attention to this. Yeah. They say this stems from a strong emotional bond towards pets. You know, how about an emotional bond with yourself and your fellow humans first? Yeah. So, chaos can lead people to impose their own sense of order. So this is what I was talking about before. People will create chaos, and it helps them, as it says here, feel in more control. So they have a bunch of dogs, and there's constant chaos, but they're constantly controlling it. Yeah, but it becomes an addiction. Um, it's like with dogs, everything is about training, restraint, shock collars, GPS, dog collars, underground fences, gates, fences. If you have a car, you put a dog restraint in the back. You put a hammock on the seat so the dog doesn't tear up the seat. Everything is about controlling the chaos that dogs bring to us. And that creates an addiction in our mind, whether we realize it or not. Yep. And look at this. Over nurturing can lead to stress, which causes an imbalance in hormones. So hormones is a big part of this. That's why I'm talking about this from the feminine viewpoint. But look at one of the hormones that is increased, cortisol. Look at that, guys. Cortisol, chronic stress can disrupt the imbalance of other hormones. So as you keep a dog well past the normal range of a human that would keep a baby, you are creating cortisol, you're creating chronic stress, and most diseases are related to chronic stress and hormones and stuff like that. And it's just a hit on your emotional well being. You're not supposed to be taking care of a baby all of your life. The baby is supposed to become a toddler and then a young man or a young woman. It's not supposed to be a constant freaking fur baby. Yeah. And so, look, women's hormones begin to out of balance or come back to balance as their child grows more independent. Well, that never, never, never happens with a stupid, barking, freeloading dog, you guys. A dog is nothing but a permanent baby, fur baby, fur mama. That's where our society is right now, worshiping these dogs. So, all this information I'm telling you, everybody knows this. And everybody knows that the human mind is getting hacked by these dogs. But who's going to talk about it? It's time that we talk about it. Let's go to our next one. So notice this, testosterone levels in U.S. men has been declining. So that means the hormone levels of most men, these guys walking around in tight jeans with ponytails, and they say that they're a fur daddy, but they don't know how to cook a meal for their woman. They don't know how to give a shoulder rub to their woman. They're little weak men, weak, whiny men that were probably raised by female dog owners. They're going to be affected by this too. I'm not even saying this to rip on them necessarily, but it's all about hormones and dopamine and how our human mind is being hacked. Our human physiology is being hacked to worship dogs instead of take care of our fellow humans. Yeah. And so look at this. Many women in the USA are experiencing increased in hormone-related diseases. A big part of this is this dog ownership, forcing women into permanent boss mom, mama bear type situations where their life is filled with chaos because of a dog, and they're addicted to that chaos. And look at these diseases: polycystic disease, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances. And what do they say is the cause? Lifestyle, stress. Dogs cause stress. Environmental influence. Yeah. It's like if you had a baby and the thing never got older than 6 months, and you had to constantly change its diaper, you had to constantly baby proof your house, you had to constantly, do all this extra stuff because this thing would never mature. This thing will never, the prefrontal lobe never develops on your little baby. What are you going to do about it? Well, that's the exact same thing that happens with a dog. Except for humans will develop a prefrontal lobe and they can help you pay bills later on. Yeah. And look at this. Studies indicate that a significant number of children, nearly 40%, lack strong emotional bonds with their parents. Gee, I wonder why. What emotional bond is pushing those humans out? The emotions that are caused by that testosterone, estrogen, dopamine that we're getting from our dogs, it pushes these kids out of our life. Yeah. And it all makes sense because dogs are permanent babies. It's not like the dog gets mature and starts paying bills and doing chores around the house and changes the oil in dad's car or something. Dogs are just permanent babies and they're a health risk. See you guys later.